How lovely it is, isn't it? With the lights glittering in the distance. I went over to Avion the other evening on the little steamer and won nearly 1,000 francs.
Can you afford to play so high?
Oh, yes. I have a certain amount put by. I also still get alimony from my last husband.
Have you had many others?
2 before this one. They both died. One in an air crash and the other in the war.
Did you love them?
Oh, yes. I shouldn't have married them if I hadn't.
Have you any children?
Yes, I have a son by my second husband. He's 24 now and very attractive. You'd love him. He's an entomologist.
I don't believe I've ever met an entomologist. It's insects, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, there's a great deal more in insects than meets the eye.
Yes, I'm sure there is. Personally, I've never felt particularly drawn to them.
Am I to drink alone?
Too much alcohol is bad for me.
Oh, too much alcohol is bad for everyone. Or just pour yourself a teeny-weeny one to keep me company.
Really, Carlotta. You're too absurd.
She's nice, your wife. I like her.
I'm so glad.
In spite of the fact that she doesn't care much for me. You know, I don't think you quite did her justice in your book. And you weren't very kind about anybody in your book, were you?
You were under no obligation to read it.
Well, there was no warning on the cover. You take a fairly jaundiced view of your fellow creatures, don't you?
Perhaps. I prefer to see people as they are, rather than as more sentimental minds would wish them to be.
You always told me I was vulgar, according to your lights, that is. But then your lights are so bright and highly placed that they bring out the bags under my eyes and the gutter snipe in my character. They always did, and they always will. There's really nothing I can do about it, except perhaps to go away. Would you like me to go away, now, this very minute?
Of course, I don't want you to go away. With all my faults, I'm seldom discourteous.
I would wish it to be something warmer than just your courtesy that wishes me to stay.
I fear I can offer you little more at the moment, Carlotta, except perhaps curiosity, which is even less complimentary. I'm what is called set in my ways.
Well, that implies resignation.
Resignation has much to recommend it. Dignity, for one thing. A quality, alas, which is fast disappearing from our world.
I think I know what you're up to.
I'm open to any suggestions.
The witty, cynical author of so many bestsellers is making way for the grand old man of letters. But aren't you jumping the gun a little?
No, Carlotta, I am not jumping the gun, nor grasping time by the forelock, nor rushing my fences.
Well, you must be prepared for a few cliches if you invite retired actresses to dinner.
I am merely accepting without undue dismay the fact of my own mortality. I'm an old man, and I at least have the sense to realize it.
Don't be waspish, my dear. Just as we were getting along so nicely. At least you can congratulate yourself on having had a fabulously successful career. No wonder you got a knighthood.
I begin to suspect that you are here as an enemy. I hoped for a friend.
Did you, Hugo? Did you really?
Perhaps I was wrong.
No, you were not wrong. I think I am more friend than foe, but I suppose there's still a little bitterness left. After all, we were lovers once, for 2 whole years, actually. Our parting was not very happy, was it?
Fairly inevitable, at any rate.
I really was very much in love with you.
And I with you.
How convincingly you say that. Why were you so unkind about me in your memoirs?
Ah, ha. Now I'm beginning to understand.
No, you're not. You're merely jumping to conclusions.
My autobiography was an assessment of the events and experiences of my life up to the time of writing it. I endeavored to be as objective and as truthful as possible. If, in the process, I happened to hurt your feelings, I apologize.
Well, your book may have been an assessment of the outward experiences of your life, but I cannot feel you are entirely honest about your inner ones.
Why should I be? My inner feelings, my own affair.
In that case, the book was sailing under false colors.
And all this because I described you as a mediocre actress.
Did you really say that? I'd forgotten. How catty of you.
Well, I've already said I was sorry.
No, my dear, you apologized. It isn't quite the same thing.
Very well. I'm sorry, then. There, will that do?
That will do. For the moment. Now, are you writing anything now?
Yes, a novel. Unfortunately, I've been a little ill lately, which has halted progress for a time, but now I'm back again to more or less my normal routine.
Your self-discipline was always remarkable.
It was less constant when we knew each other. There were too many distractions.
Did you think I was a mediocre actress then?
How could I? I was in love with you.
It was later, when you laid aside your rose-colored glasses, that you began to see through me.
It wasn't exactly that I saw through you. It was that I realized that in spite of your vitality and charm and outward allure, there was some essential quality missing.
You mean you guessed I would never really become a star?
I sensed it rather than guessed it.
In any case, your diagnosis was accurate. I never did become a star. Not a real star. Oh, but my career has not been altogether a failure, you know. I've played interesting plays, traveled the wide world. My life has fascinated and amused me all along the line. I am seldom bored, and I have few regrets.
But the one abiding one is that you would rather have been great than merely competent?
You don't happen to have any parchment lying about, do you?
Parchment?
Yes. When expert zoologists extract the venom from snakes, they force them to bite on parchment.
I accept your rebuke.
How generous of you.
It's curious that you should still be able to arouse such hostility in me.
Oh, not really. As a matter of fact, it was always there, just below the surface.
When two young people are passionately in love, a certain amount of bickering is inevitable. It even has charm, up to a point. But when the old indulge in it, it's merely tiresome.
Ooh, speak for yourself. You're the one who's decided to be old. I haven't yet. Perhaps I never shall.
You see no point in dignified withdrawal, in growing old gracefully?
Oh, there is little grace in growing old, Hugo. I really like slapping on the makeup, having my body massaged and my hair tinted. You have no idea how I enjoy my long, complicated mornings. Oh, I admit that I am liable to fall apart a bit by the late afternoon, but a short snooze fixes that, and then I have all the fun of getting ready again for the evening.
And does the evening really justify so much effort?
As a general rule, yes. I have many friends, some of them quite young. They seem to enjoy my company. I like to watch them dancing.
Why are you so suddenly curious about what has happened to me during all these long years, Carlotta? What is it that you want of me?
At the moment, dinner.
Carlotta.
Well, I only had a salad for lunch and I'm famished.
Very well, but please remember that I tire easily.